been through in my entire life. But I learned so much during that process. Like I learned how strong my husband and I are. Mm-hmm. Like that made us just unbreakable.
Like
yeah. I didn't want to fight. I just was like, I've never had to, I don't know.
Rule follower.
Yes. I don't want to go through all this. And my husband looked at me. He's like, you did nothing wrong. You fight for what's right.
Yeah.
And, I think I needed to hear that. Times that I can't, there's so many times that I say that in my head, like sometimes you just have to fight. Yeah. We don't always think that because it's like, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't want no trouble.
Yeah.
And and where is it ranked at this point?
I don't know if the official number, but we definitely went from the top to, we plummeted for sure. Like the numbers just were not there.
All right, welcome to the Brighter Side Podcast. I'm very excited to have my first female guest, which is Holly Strickland. She is killing it in the fitness game. She has the biggest burn boot camp in the nation.
How'd you know that?
I looked it up. I did some research, and that is right here, people in beautiful Naples, Florida. She trains women, empowering women, just helping people get fit. And I'm so excited to talk fitness because as you guys may or may not know, I used to own a gym for 12 years. So I speak your language. Yeah. And so I have so many questions. So welcome to the Brighter Side Podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for being here. Before I get into my questions about you, I want you just to be able to kind of say, hey, what is Holly's version of who Holly is?
Yeah. So my name's Holly Strickland. I was born in New Jersey, actually. Moved here when I was 9 months old. So essentially, I've been here my whole life.
Okay.
What all do you want to know?
So just kind of lay it out. How did you get to Florida? So you've been here
I've been here my whole life.
Naples?
Yep, in Naples.
So born and raised in Naples.
Yep, born and raised. Well, raised, but I was born. Basically, yeah.
So this is your home, though. So you've seen it grow from
nothing to where we are today.
To like really booming.
Yeah, for sure. I went to UCF.
Okay.
I went on a full ride golf scholarship. So that's kind of cool. I played golf my whole life. And then that's kind of what brought me into fitness. So being involved with all of the, the workouts and all that is really where that kind of started becoming my passion, I would say. And then after that, I got reunited with my husband, who we dated in middle school. We didn't talk for 10 years. And then all of a sudden, I saw him at Keewaydin and he looked at me. He's like, I'm going to marry you one day. And I was like, okay. So within 4 months, I was living in Orlando then. So 4 months, I moved back to Naples. And then 8 months we were engaged, a year and a half we were married. And now it's been 14 years.
Wow. That's kind of a similar story. I met my wife at a party. Party we shouldn't have been at, but and the first night I told her, I said, you're my future wife. I wrote it on some, we used to back in the the red Solo cup beer drinking days, you mark with a Sharpie, red, I wrote it on her hand or something. And
that's awesome.
I mean, we've been together ever since. Never dated, never broke up, never, no, I mean, we've had a fight or two, I guess. But no,
you have to fight. That's normal.
Never one of those we broke up and went back out and broke up. So kind of a love at first sight type of moment.
Yeah. So cool.
We got that in common. So your husband's from here as well?
Yep. He was born and raised here. He's a firefighter in Immokalee. So he's 20 years is this year. So he's been doing that ever since. And we have one son. His name is Maverick. He's 7 years old and he is a lot. Yeah. So much in the best way, but he's a lot.
7's a great age. Mm-hmm. 7's a great age. I have a 16-year-old son and a 14-year-old daughter who goes to Burn. So we'll get into that. Yeah. But so you played golf and were you always athletic growing up or?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah. Golf was my main sport. I was a gymnast as well, but golf was really my dad was, he basically was like, this is where you're going to be able to get, get somewhere. Scholarship. Yeah. And it did happen. So it was a very cool experience, but a lot of work. I mean, it was
golf. I love golf, but it is the hardest sport. I feel hard. Because what makes golf unique is there's no shot that's the same. The elements, you know what I mean? There's not like basketball or
every
football where it's
different.
There's still a 10-foot goal. It's still a 3-point line. Yeah, there's different, but golf could be every shot's a little, you may have never hit a shot from that exact distance to where you're going. And then the cup and, so golf is another animal, I mean, I play like, I pull out the foot wedge once in a while and I don't play by the rules. So do you still play?
I play a few tournaments a year. Like my son's now getting into it, so
I think
it'll start to kick back up. But I got so burnt out from college. Like, I mean, just playing all the time. So
it became like, I've heard that, and maybe I'll ask you that a little bit later about, you know, I hear a lot of people, I wasn't planning on going there, but I want to ask you, I'm genuine because that's high level D1.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people, you know, they grow up, play sports their whole life, and then they get to college where they think, oh man, I just want to play D1. And I've heard multiple people talk about this, but they're like, it sucked. Like it was my life. I hated it.
It's a job.
It's like not like I know one girl in particular, she played basketball, and she's like, I couldn't even go get coffee. Like it was like so regimented that I was like, I couldn't even be a college student. And there's like so many people that work to get to that level.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I didn't experience that. I mean, my experience was wonderful. It was really, really good. Just towards the end, I mean, it was, you know, you're waking up at 7 a.m. every day or 6 a.m. You have to get to workouts ahead of that. And then all the different classes that you're taking are all built around that schedule and traveling. Sure. But it was a great experience, like all in all, like, but I just burnt out. Like I just was over the sport.
You just, does it make you are you still burnt out now, or are you kind of over it?
No, I get excited to go now, but I don't keep score. Like it's,
just for fun.
I mean, it's still just naturally, I keep it in my head. Yeah. Even though I'm like, I don't want to keep it. But my husband plays as well, and we are very competitive. Yeah. So that's always entertaining if, you know, he's beating me or I'm beating him. Yeah. So that's fun. Yeah, well, but we don't play enough together.
My wife took it up. My kind of whole family took it up together. And so that's been fun because it's like, you know, one thing about golf that's cool is like if you're traveling, even if you're going to like the worst place or you don't know, like, what are we doing? Like there's always like a golf course where I'm like, I can go find a day to like go get away or whatever.
It's a nice thing to do together for sure.
Yeah. We went to Puerto Rico and went golfing. And what's funny about it is, you know, we're like, hey, do you guys rent clubs? And they're like, yeah, we rent clubs or whatever. Like, all right, cool. So when we get there, it's like, I don't know if they had like a bag in the back, but I mean, I'm not even kidding you. I had like 4 irons, a kid's putter, a legit wood, a wood driver. Yeah. And dude, it was like the funnest thing ever though, because every time we played, like that's all we remember was that. Just that the clubs were, you know, like, which 4 iron do I want to use out of this? But it was, it kind of made me like now, whenever I ask somebody if they have, you know, golf rental, I make sure to say, hey, is this like a legit, you know, what's actually going to be in there? But so, I love it. So anyways, getting back to fitness. So how did you, I mean, you're obviously golf kept you in shape, kept you going in. Like when did you get out of college, and then like what happens? Where's Holly at? Like what gets you into like even just getting into the fitness realm as an instructor? Yeah.
So I got my degree in sports and fitness, minor in coaching, minor in fitness training. So it was my degree really. But I started personal training in Orlando before, like right the time that I met my husband. We got introduced and I got transferred back down to Naples at it was called Lifestyle Family Fitness, which is now Naples Family Fitness. Okay. Yeah. And so when I got transferred, I had started a boot camp down here, and it was called Beachbody with Holly. Okay. So at that, there was 2 gyms, lifestyle gyms in Naples at the time. And at the other gym is where Devin Klein, and that's my friend who now is the founder and CEO of Burn. Okay. Yeah. So that's how that all kind of happened. So I trained 6 years at Naples Family Fitness, and then kind of that's when I joined forces and went to Burn. And
he and you were like competitors at the time, right? And if I feel like I remember,
we'd always go back and forth. Like he'd be number 1, I'd be number. Yeah. So I always joke about him coming in and like spying on like what I was. He's like, "What is this girl doing?" Yeah. So then you're teaching personal training, teaching classes. I'm curious what your response is before I would answer what mine is. Just being in the game. Yeah. One-on-one training versus classes, like which do you think is like, which is better in your opinion? And I mean, you don't have to say like at the time. I mean, just from my personal perspective, like for me going into it would be in a group, just because there's an accountability factor of like, you know, I am competitive and like, I want to keep up with her, you know, or I want to motivate, and it's more fun. Yeah. But I think personal training, like one-on-one, there is definitely some benefit to that. Some people just need that, like that one-on-one help to be like with their form and their technique and really like understanding that. So I think there's benefits to both, but for me personally, definitely a group.
Yeah, I would agree. I think one-on-one training, I think it depends on what stage of life you're in.
Yeah.
If you're young, maybe one-on-one training. I mean, I've done it all as well. And it's like a hard way to make a living though, because it's expensive for the individual. And you know, it's an hour with just you. And so it's like, you know, if you start doing, okay, well, hey, it's, you know, whatever, 70, 80 a session, 120. Now I know there's all the gurus out there to charge 300, but most people can't do that. You know, most people are whatever, even if it's 100, it's like, it's a difficult way, I think. And so I know a lot of kids that want to, they're into fitness and they want to go into being a trainer. And I'm always like, ooh, let's have a conversation. Let me talk to you about group.
It's hard. I mean, you hear that person's life story. I mean, and it can be very intense to have that one-on-one connection, but in a lot of good ways. Like some of those first initial member, or I guess one-on-one personal training clients of mine, they made such an impact on my career just because, you know, I had 2 of them that lost 100 pounds with me, and it forever left like the best imprint on my heart, just because to help someone go through something, they couldn't tie their shoes, you know, and get on a roller coaster ride or go on a plane with their kid. And then they can, it was just to see that. I mean, I think that they definitely set me up, I mean, for wanting to help people, because just seeing that growth.
Yeah. So you go from Lifetime Fitness and Devin. I mean, at this point, do you find like a niche? Do you find like you know, hey, I really tend to like, were you training guys and girls? Did you ever get any feedback?
I did have one-on-one men, you know, male clients, but I had my female only boot camp at that time at that gym. Oh,
you did have a female. Okay. So I was going to ask you, did you ever train any men one-on-one?
Yeah. And those are just personal training. Yeah.
Did that go well, or did you always feel like they were like, what do you know? Or I mean, did you ever catch any of that? And that's fair, I think.
No, I think it was more. Yeah. I mean, I feel like more when I trained men, it was, they were just losing weight or they were trying to gain muscle or, you know, something like that. But more of my clients were, I think the females tend to gravitate towards a female trainer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, sure. I actually always thought like training females was easier because guys got egos. And I don't know if it's guys with guys, but you know, like, oh, back in high school, I'm like, yeah, all right, that was like 50 pounds ago, bro. And like, you know, like girls are just like, tell me what to do. I want to, you know, I want to make my booty look better, or like, I want to lose some weight. And I want to get abs. And it's like, just tell me what to do. And, you know, they would just do it. They was just like, no, there's no ego about it or whatever. And so, you know, you would do that. But I was curious, like what you would say. I mean, and I've also had a female trainer.
Have you? That's
personally. Awesome. Yeah, personally. And she was great. She was great. So
I mean, in the space I'm in now with the boot camps, so we have all females, like from start to finish. So everybody in our gym is, but we have had male client or male trainers before. And
in there.
We have. And I do miss that from time to time. Just, I mean, they were like my little brothers, you know. I mean, I have very good relationships with my staff. I like to think I do.
Yeah.
It's just something that I really take pride in, is having, you know, those relationships. But so I do miss having, you know, sometimes like having the men. Yeah. It's just a different vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. That I got some questions about that, but I want to get to, how did you get, so you're running your women's only boot camp at Lifetime, and then Devin is also across the way, and he decides to launch this thing and comes to you. So
he moved to Charlotte with his wife, and he started a boot camp in a parking lot, and it just took off. Like it did. I mean, it didn't initially take off. He talks about like there was times like he had 2 people in his like class, you know, or we call them camps. But it took time. But then he ended up opening his own brick and mortar, and then his wife, they ended up opening another one for her. And so then they started franchising. So we were number 9 in the company open. Naples was the 9, and I believe there's 400 and something open today.
Oh, wow. There's 450 now?
Yeah.
Wow. And I think I heard someone else say his goal is 500 or something.
His goal, initially when we were talking, he's like, I want to open 500 of these things. Wow. And I looked at him, I'm like, I love you, but you're crazy. It's never going to happen. Crazy. And it did. I mean, he has over 500 signed on. It's pretty wild. That's crazy. So, so from there, when there was previous owners that owned Naples, they opened in 2017. And
this is Burn. They're
Burn.
in current Burn. This
Burn
is
Naples.
somebody else. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And so I came on as the head trainer. So that's like kind of how that whole story got going. I ended up purchasing 49% from them. And I don't know if I can talk about this.
Let's talk about it.
And then we went through a lawsuit. I was 5 months pregnant, and I mean, the details are, it is what it is, but we fought through it, and we won it in 2018, or the end of 2018, right when I had my son. So yeah, so it was.
What was that process like? I mean, talk about that a little bit. I mean, you don't have to go into detail about the actual lawsuit, but obviously you get served papers. You're not expecting it, which that's a lot right there. And you're pregnant, and you're getting ready to have your first kid. You're young, pretty newly married, probably a few years in. So
it was hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever been through in my entire life. But I learned so much during that process. Like, I learned how strong my husband and I are. Like that made us just unbreakable.
Like close.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I didn't want to fight. I just was like, I've never had a detention in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes. I don't want to go through all this. And my husband looked at me. He's like, you did nothing wrong. You fight for what's right.
Yeah.
And, I think I needed to hear that. Like, and there's times that I can't, there's so many times that I say that in my head, like, sometimes you just have to fight for what's right. And we don't always think that, because it's like, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't want no trouble.
I don't want trouble. Yeah. So we fought through it, and but it was hard.
Yeah. And then so after that's all said and done, you win, and then you take ownership of it.
Yep.
In 2018.
Yep.
And and where is it ranked at this point?
I mean, I don't know if the official number, but we definitely went from the top to, I mean, we plummeted for sure. Like, the numbers just were not there. So when I got the gym back, it was like a whole staff that I didn't hire. It was kind of like, okay, hi, I'm your boss. And you don't know anything about
systems, operations.
Yeah. So it was just starting with like the basic things of like, how can I find wins? What is it that I can do to make your day easier, your life better? Like, how do we just start at ground zero?
Yeah.
And we did. We just started rebuilding, and a lot of people came back because they had left during the lawsuit time, just because it was
too
toxic.
Much.
Yeah, it wasn't good. No one wanted to be involved. Now I'm going to work out. I don't want to be involved in drama.
Yeah, gym drama. Yeah, shoes. I could do a podcast on that one too. That's a whole other.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So with that, so are you doing any training at that point? Are you still a trainer
when I got it back?
Are you still, like, how much are you actually training? So you have a little one, and have you already figured out how to, like, have people training under you? Or are you already?
Yeah. I mean, at that point the schedule was basically filled. So I would just be, the, oh no, something's wrong trainer,
Yeah.
But I think I was on the schedule probably about 10 camps a week, maybe, give or take, somewhere in there. So I was still a little bit, but more just back office and just getting everything back up and going.
So how many classes a day does Burn?
We have 11.
11 class times a day. And that starts as early as
4:45 a.m.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember those days. And your last one is
6:30 p.m.
Okay. So what's your average, what's the average class for you guys? I mean, are you able to say how many members you have, or is that?
We're over 700.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's probably a better.
Yeah.
People start doing the math. I totally get it. That is crazy to me as someone that, I think, and I was a different model when I was doing my thing, but I think I was up to maybe 180 at one time at like a CrossFit style.
We have a lot of seasonal members too. Like, we have a lot of, during the summer months, we'll have the student memberships. So we have a lot of those. And then, you have your punch card. So this is going to include all of those different types of memberships. So,
So you drop off a little bit in the summer.
We'll drop like 100, more than 100 during the summer months for our,
season here. Season. We call it a season for any of you guys that don't live in Naples. And it's basically a lot of the snowbirds, we call them, or whatever, will go back up north, and business drops off. My Christmas light company and outdoor lighting company drops off dramatically. And I mean, it's not good to hear, but it's good to hear that it kind of affects everybody, because sometimes you're like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
You just have to look at the data and know that it's going to happen. Like we kind of always know, okay, these are the months that we're going into that we need to plan ahead for when it does, decrease.
So do you program, or how do you come up with the, in full disclosure, my wife goes and my daughter just recently started going. So I hear about the workouts. They love them. But like, how do you?
So headquarters actually writes the workout. So it comes from them, and then we're able to change about 10% just depending on like equipment or size of your gym. So in adding that little, flair. So we have about 10% that we change, but yeah, the headquarters basically pushes it down.
You're changing them because of like your class capacity. Sometimes, like, I know sometimes my wife will look at it. She's like, "Oh my gosh,
There's
on
no
Saturday
slots.
morning,
yeah."
Or she's like, "Oh, that's going to be a lot." It's which I've always like, as somebody that used to program workouts, that is a difficult task, even if you're having to take, because you have to go pieces of equipment and all the things. And how many people can I get?
When's the last time we did this exercise? Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
All the flow, and then there's always somebody that's like, "We did this movement," and you're like, you know what, it is what it is. So I want to get into your own regiment, your own. I always like to ask people their morning routines, like so. Have you always been somebody that's kind of always stayed in shape other than like, pregnancy or?
I would say so. I mean, fitness has always been important to me. I would say just like moving my body has just always been important. I feel better. I have a better, just outlook on life. I feel like I'm just happier when I work out, and when I, even if it's just movement of some type, it's always been something I've enjoyed doing. But my routine's strange because of the firefighter life.
Because of the time on, time off. Yeah.
So every third day he goes on shift. So then I have to be home with Maverick to get him ready and everything. But I always do the first camp. So whatever the day that, if I get there at 8:30, then I do 8:30 camp. If I get there at 5:30, I do 5:30. So I know myself, I don't like to work out at nighttime. That just doesn't work out well for me.
Yeah, me either.
So as long as I work out, in the morning and that first time, I cannot watch it. If I watch the boot camp go by twice, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna walk.
Yeah, that's refreshing here, because I think they just think you're, as a gym owner, you don't go through some of the same, because you love fitness and you own a fitness gym. Like you probably like just live, breathe, fitness, when it's like, no, man, I'm normal. So do you feel like, like, if you were to watch social media, right, and you were to talk, you're like, okay, hey, fitness and like what it takes to be I'll double down. If you're a fitness entrepreneur or you want to be in shape and you're a business owner, then you've got a cold plunge. You've got to do the sauna. You got to meditate for a little while. You got to read a certain amount of pages of books. You got to do an indoor and outdoor workout. You got to pray a certain way, and you got to get all this done by like 5 a.m. so that you're better than everyone else. Yeah. And I'm a big advocate of most of that. Yeah, and I'm not saying any of it is bad. Yeah. But it's like, man, I was like, man, just to get a cold plunge in a sauna, you're like at like 10 grand, like not everybody's got that. Yeah. So like kind of going to like, what's your thoughts on like, just getting movement. Started. Yeah. Cause like in a morning routine, is there like just non-negotiables for you?
Yeah. I'd say with anyone getting started, just start small. You don't have to have these big goals of like doing this, and this. Yeah. I would say definitely stay away from social media in comparison, because that is not everybody's journey. Is what theirs is may not be what yours is. Yeah. So, but just start moving, even if it's a walking, just like your 10,000 steps a day, but find what's worked for you in the past and do that again. Because I think we just get on this, like we have to do all these different things and just keep it simple. Yeah. Just move your body, like you don't have to go crazy and work out 2 hours a day. Yeah. That's one of the things I love about Burns, 45 minutes. Yeah. You're in, out, and done.
That's the thing my wife loves the most, is she's like, I don't have to think. Yes. I walk in, they tell me what to do. The clock's there. Yeah. The music's loud. It's not a lot of, she's like, and man, the women are like the same. There's like, they're in and they're on a mission. And she's like, everybody's there to get stuff done. Yep. So you guys are doing a great job on that, because, that's awesome that's like, honest feedback, from my wife, who is really so I wanted to ask you about the women that's unique, right? And so why so it's the only one, if I understand. Yep. It's the only one in the Burn.
I believe we're the only one in the Burn franchise
out of all 450.
Yeah. And that's because of our lease. So it's like a legal thing with our lease that's why we're
It was just set up that way.
Yeah.
So would you like to, I mean, if you had your way, would you open it up to men too? Or is it like now?
Kindly would say no.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like it gives women such a cool place. Like it gives them the space to, there's no mirrors in Burn, which is it's the way it's designed. So you're not focusing on other people or what you're wearing. You're focusing on you. And I think as a female, we have a hard time with that. And you have the childcare that's there. So you literally get that 45 minutes of non-interruption to just have you time.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, I know at one time I was like, man, why don't they have, I'm sure you've heard this.
I've heard it so many times.
I'm like, why don't they just open it up for the dudes? I'm like, I don't know, split the room. Is this like guys, they don't want to work out with guys? Cause like the gym bros or whatever. I was like, I don't know, put a divider up. It's not that I have to work out with women, but it's like, I want to go in.
Well, and the workout, like you said, like, it would be good for your body. The workouts make sense.
Yeah.
We purchased a second franchise agreement in 2020, actually, to have a second gym that would be co-ed. Just as of right now, we haven't found a space. So it's just the real estate's so insane here in Naples that we just the numbers have to make sense,
So shout out to any commercial real estate agents. If you want somebody that's killing it, it just needs to get a good lease. I mean, it's a proven business. So, somebody reach out and Holly's already ready to lock and load on. You got a guy right here. I was like, I'll be your first guy client, And there's somebody out there that could do it, make it happen. But I get that. 2020. I want to talk about that. So obviously COVID, kind of walk me through. Okay. So it's 2021, nobody knows of COVID. And then kind of talk about that experience of hitting 2020 and
I'll just never forget it. I think it was March 17th, 2020. And I signed the franchise agreement for North Naples. So obviously that one's the one, what kind of timing, right? Or it was the 13th and the 14th the country closes down. And I'm like, wait, I just signed to open another gym. What was actually happening? Were you open during that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Kansas.
It was surreal. It was a weird, we had to close our gym. What? It was so surreal. Yeah, but was Kansas?
So that's what I was going to ask you. I wasn't in Florida for 2020, and believe it or not, as I'm not sure the right way to say this. It was very. I was surprised. I don't know. They started getting into politics, but it was very liberal thinking. I guess I don't know if it felt like at least where I was at. So, I was like everyone else, I had a lot of nurses and, I'd be like, hey, what's this COVID something? Is this a thing? And I remember some of them saying no. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's nothing. That was probably first of end of February, 1st of March, you're kind of hearing about it or whatever. And then I remember one specific nurse, I was like, that I trusted. Yeah. I was asking, I was like, hey, I was about this. This thing's growing or something. What's the deal? And they're like, it's starting to get kind of they're like, it's starting to freak me out a little bit, yada, yada. Yeah. To the point where personally, I had done this body weight challenge and I had gotten probably in the best shape of my life. And this was probably into March 20, probably right around when you signed your lease. And we were literally on a 1 week break before we started another program. Cause we talk about okay, now you got this dream body that you want. Now you're going to take just a break, just kind of a reset. And then we're going to do something different. And that's literally when they the NBA shut down and then March Madness and what's going on. I mean, I'm walking around opening doors with my shirt and taking toilet paper. I remember literally stealing toilet paper from the gym. Afraid that people were going to steal it. And I was taking it out and just
such a weird thing,
all the things. Yeah. And then, for us, that was kind of all of a sudden, hey, we got to shut down. But I'm curious what
we just started making a plan. We're like, okay, this is what we're allowed to do. And then it was not clear, okay, how many people can still be in the gym? Do we have to fully, could the staff could still travel back and forth? So within a week, we were live on Zoom and everything was I remember looking at the TV and it was you could see 60 people and you would scroll and you would see everybody, we're like, okay, we'll do a running challenge at home, get your kids outside and walk. Cause again, our goal too, behind the scenes, let's just keep people healthy. That's our ultimate goal. Yeah. But we also have to save this business.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Because if
for
people
sure.
start canceling because they've lost their jobs, which we would of course understand, but like we still like our rent didn't stop. Nothing stopped for us, you know? So we're just trying, how do we keep it together? And how do I keep my employees still having jobs? Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we came together and we got a good plan of like, okay, we're on Zoom. We all had that all up and going very quickly. And then as we were allowed to have people come back in the gym, we put, you know, tape down in boxes and on the floor. And we had every individual spot had their spray, and it was intense. I mean, it was ripping up that tape was some of the best memories, just getting it gone. Did you
catch any, I'm curious, did you catch any flack for, you know, memberships, people canceling? I mean, I don't know if your guys is, you know, like if we personally had, you know, we had year memberships, we had month to month and, you know, all this different stuff. But I mean, you know, like at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, like, hey, like my landlord there isn't a COVID clause in the, you know, in the old, you know, lease agreement, you know, like you love this gym.
Yeah.
You know, like
continue to say,
like I'm, you know, like, I mean, what was your experience like that? Did you have any?
I mean, we obviously had people that we had to cancel or put them on hold, and we did everything we could. You know, if it was a job related thing, we did what we could. I mean, yeah, members are in contracts, but still, like, you know, at the end of the day, you have to do what's right by the people too. You know, like if they can't pay, it's gonna. They're like, listen, there's no money there; it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So, but I would say, you know, it is interesting, like how good things gonna come out of something bad. Like we now have Burn on Demand, which was created kind of during the COVID time by headquarters. So like now everyone can work out on their app. So like you can literally pull up and do the same exact workout. It's live every day with headquarters, but like that happened because of COVID.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, so there was definitely some good things that came out of it, but yeah, there was definitely.
I was going to say like there was definitely some good things that came from COVID that, I mean, didn't seem like it at the time, but you know, like what is not, well, like DoorDash and like a lot of these things like drive-thrus and like, I don't feel like drive-thrus were like a thing, like even Chick-fil-A or whatever. And now it's like, look at it. It's like, it
definitely
just like
changed the game in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Like I feel like after COVID, I don't know, man. I don't like going shopping anymore. Like if I go to the mall, I'm like cringe, you know, unless it's like, I know what I'm wanting.
You know you want.
And I'll go straight in, but it's like, there's like a lot of good things. Yeah. For us in COVID, what was really hard is, and it was a smaller gym and I did a majority of the training and as well as my wife. We had one other lady, one other girl that trained, you know, kind of towards the end. And so you have these like long relationships with some of these people. And then people would just be like, you know, oh, I need you to take it down to, you know, $50 a month. And I'm like, bro, I can't negotiate with you. Then you find out like so-and-so, you know, is now, then everybody's asking me like, man, I'm just trying to keep my rent up. I was like, what we did is I set up, like, I feel like this would be like a movie or something. It was crazy what we did, but we took like, we had rowers, we had like 6 rowers, basically we would do our, you know, our stations in like 4 or 5, 6 racks, 6, you know, barbells, 6, we had more barbells, but you know, and we basically like laid them all out and we built like kits, you know, like we had a rower, a barbell, a set of 45s, 35s, 25s, cool. 10.
So they came in, that's what they would be.
Well, so at that point we weren't even in the gym. This is like before. So we actually like, I had clients around, like again, small town, where we set them up in people's garages and we had pods like all around town.
That's a great
idea.
And
then we set up, you know, like the schedule, you know, where you can say, hey, this person, you know, the Smith's house, the da-da-da. And I kind of like spaced them all out kind of evenly.
Oh, wow.
And then they would open up their garage and then the workout was in there. And it was like, it was sort of basic.
It was like a virtual, but not. Yeah,
it was like a bunch of little mini burns, you know what I mean? And then, you know, but
it's a great way to pivot.
It was,
that's what we learned during that time is how to pivot.
So hard. Though. And then you have like, the cameras and the clocks and it was like so much work just to keep your business. I mean, I actually had to leave and go work at a school district, which that's a whole nother podcast about me or whatever. I don't want to get, but it's, I know it was so hard for everybody in general. Also, you have a family. You're going through all the things with your kid and all the, you know, I'm sure even with the fire department, like all the different things. And you're like, you know, what's true, what's not true. And then trying to run a business and everybody's coming
and you're just trying to do things right. I mean, at the end of the day, with COVID, it was just hard to find the information of what am I allowed to do? Like I said, I am a rule follower of IT. So
Me
like
too.
how many people am I allowed to have in? I'm not here trying to I don't want to put anybody in an unsafe environment.
Yeah.
But like, I obviously have to follow what the, CDC is saying. And it was so hard to find the information of like, they need to be out for this amount of time. You can't be out. You're just like, it's always changing. There just never felt like the information was
every day. Well, in Florida, I think, like I said, I didn't get here until 2021.
Yeah.
But Florida was a lot more open than,
it was, yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
And it was,
I mean, a lot of the gyms, a lot of the burns up north, like they, if they open during COVID, like they're still struggling.
Still,
it's, it's just like a hard, comeback to get, you lose that momentum.
Yeah.
It's just hard. So
people moved on, maybe found another gym, or like maybe they were mad that you did close and didn't
And we had a lot of people moving here too, because everybody wanted to move to Florida during that time. What we're actually seeing now is people are moving back.
Yeah.
From wherever, they're canceling their contract because they're going back to where they
came from. Yeah, I know. It's like, Florida's great though. I love it. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I love Naples. Naples is my home now, but I just, with that, COVID was really hard. I feel like I still traumatically don't like Zoom because of it, because like
we all were forced to be on it for so much time.
Yeah. I'm like, somebody still sends me this and I'm like, COVID,
Zoom,
or whatever, but it was great. So what do you suggest? Like, what do you think women, I can't speak to this, but like what, with social media, with just, I don't know. That's why I'm interested to hear what you say. Like, what do you think most women struggle with? Like just in general with like, getting in shape, what is healthy? What is, when is being content, as a woman? I mean, and I know it's different for everybody in some regards, but like, what do you think most women that you hear coming through, like, what do they struggle with?
Yeah. I mean, when you look at, when someone comes into us, we hear a few things. They're coming for community, right? Because, I'm 40. It's hard to go to Target and be like, hey, my name's Holly. Do you want to be my friend?
Yeah.
Right? It's hard to find friends as you get older.
Sure it is.
I think, it's a great place to go to just meet other women who have a similar goal, and it could just be connection. So we do hear that a lot. And I mean, obviously weight loss and just getting in shape can look in like so many different ways. But I think when it comes to just fitness overall, it's just feeling better. It's a feeling, right? And I mean, in my opinion, confidence is a feeling, and that is our job as trainers. And, my job as the franchise partner is to set the staff and the members up with the ability to just help people feel more confident.
Yeah. I feel like it's hard to know sometimes, like, when is enough, or like, what is, I mean, at least from a guy speaking about fitness, it's like, man, what is the, and
you're here, you always want to go here. You're here, you always want to go here.
Yeah. Like, I think, it's like, okay, well, and like for me, there's so many things, and I'm a big advocate of like, peptides and all the different things that are out there, but you look at somebody that you can tell is kind of your age or something. And I'm like, dang, what is this guy? Is he natural?
Yeah.
Is he on something? Am I being too hard on myself because I don't look like that? I mean, like, how, you don't know.
Comparison is death.
Yeah.
It really is. And it can, I think we just have to remember like where we're at, and that we're only against ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think so often, I mean, and I think it can be for men or women, we're always comparing ourselves to somebody else. And I think that social media has a lot to do with that. It can be a very positive thing, but social media can be very negative. And I think that in itself is just reminding ourselves that we're against ourselves and not against anyone else.
Yeah, right. And I know it is such a comparison game, because you want to like try to have a balance, right? Like, I kind of extreme where it's like, I can get really dialed in, but then I'm like, I feel like almost like food shame if I have like an ice cream with my kids, or, we have a tradition in our family, and we've done this for like 10 years, but every Friday night the Adams family is going to be at Culver's, and we always go get a kid's meal. You get a kid's cheeseburger, kids fries, kids drink, and a kid ice cream. And it's like $5.
Yeah.
And we just always do it. I mean, it's not even a question. It's like Friday night. It's like, we just know we're going to be there, but it's like, man, I was like, is this burger, fries, and small drink, if I ate good? It's like, but it's like, dude, it does something to me. Like, how do you balance like you know, having a cheat meal and doing life and like having a guilt-free ice cream with your kid, but like, is it really guilt-free or is that just part of being fit, you know?
I think that those things are so important. Like I want my son to see me eat ice cream and a cheeseburger and all those things because like you can still be fit and be healthy and eat those things every now and again. You know, the cheat meal is actually really good for us to just start to mix our, you know, your body's like, what is that? You know? But I think balance is like, I mean, you said that balance is everything. I mean, specifically when it comes to nutrition and working out, you can work out too much. You can obviously not work out enough, right? It's just finding the balance in all of the different things. I mean, that's something that I feel like I'm always going to struggle with just because you have so many things going on. It's like, okay, my to-do lists are so long and it's overwhelming, right? Like where do you start on one of them and how do you keep, but it's all about balance. And that's actually my word of the year this year.
That's your what?
Word of the year.
What is it?
Balance.
Balance. Okay. Yeah. Mine is, what is mine? Mine is, I set out on a mission this year. Like this is just a year I was like, I'm done talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Like I got braces. I was just talking about this on another podcast, but I got braces. I was like, I'm fixing everything and I'm just so sick of talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it. I'm getting in shape. I'm hiring a trainer. Done talking. And I mean, dude, this guy is not giving me anything I've never done. I've not done one exercise. I didn't even have to like look up, what is this? I literally know everything. But yeah. And one thing that and we've had it out a few times on the, you know, on a phone call or whatever, you know, and that's just working it out. Like he's not a yes guy either, you know?
I love that.
We've had to kind of find, you know, happy mediums or whatever, but one thing that I like that he said that I've been using a lot is this making you better? Like just asking yourself, like your goal is this body type. You've sent me a picture, like what you want to look like is whatever you're getting ready to do, getting ready to eat. Is it getting you there?
Yeah. Is it move me closer or further away?
Yeah. I didn't send you the picture. You sent me the picture and you said, this is what you want. Is it going to get you there? And
I love that.
You know, I think I'm still personally trying to find a balance, you know, like when is it okay? You know, cause then I'm always like, you know, even on a rest day, you're like, but if I go and do this, you know, then I'll burn some extra calories and I might get there a little faster and, you know. But
that's all mindset, right? So when you're saying if it's going to get me closer, is it going to move me away? I think the one thing that when someone goes in to get in a fitness routine and they don't have their mindset set, right? I mean, it's very normal that happens, that you're like, okay, well, you know what? I never really thought about all these questions, but having the mindset going into it. I mean, for me, one-on-one training, that's what it taught me, is like those conversations with those people, like it's so important to have, and just basically be really understanding what their goals are to help them move closer to what they want, you know? But
I think it'll always probably be, for most people,
balance is so hard.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's like a sexy word. I don't know that you ever quite figure it out, but I mean, you know, I think if you can just eliminate the yo-yo, you know, like that's what I do. It's like, I call it like the trainer trap. It's like you get in shape, but you're like, but I know how to lose weight. So it's like, you know, and it's like, it can just be I just want to be consistent. That's always my goal. Like, I just want to be just showing up consistently. You know, if I'm working out 3 days a week, that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we're in a walking challenge right now at the gym. So we have a walking, like a little summer challenge that we all have going on. And it's all on an app that you bet against yourself to hit these. It's so cool. Yeah. And if you win, like you hit your goals, you get your money back at the end. And if you don't, you donate your money to the pot, which is really cool. Cause it's just like, there's an accountability factor. Like, I don't want to lose $30, you know? Yeah. I want to, so like, there I am walking around my house at 10 o'clock at night, cause I don't have my steps in. Yeah. There you go. I noticed that you have the Oura ring, which I have an Oura ring as well. Yeah. What do you like about it? So I've had the Whoop before as well, but this, I like that it does, it tracks your temperature. So for a female, it tracks your cycle, which is kind of cool. Oh, cool. It does do like your steps and all that and your sleep. There's a lot of data that I'm like, I need to get more. I need to dig into that app a little bit more, but it's really cool. Right. What do you like about yours? So for me, I used to have the Apple Watch, but I never utilized it. Like, I didn't use it for texting. I literally was just using it to count my calories and my steps, in my workouts and stuff. And so, but I was like, as a guy, I like want to wear a watch or I go out, but I'm like, I wanted to keep track of that. And so I'm like, this keeps track of my sleep, keeps track of my, my steps, which I mean, for me, it's like, I really utilize, I like to see what my sleep is. I'd like to look at my deep sleep, how good I slept. And it's,
how many times you
scary.
woke up.
Yeah, it's scary accurate. And then, my steps, but it's like, it just looks like a normal ring. Right. It's not flashy. It's just a little bit more subtle. Yeah. And so, but I mean, if you're interested in the Oura Ring, I'll go ahead and I'll put a link in the description for the Oura Ring. Go check it out. But
my son had the flu, like, I don't know when that was going around 2 months ago.
Oh yeah.
And this gave me an alert of, like significant signs of like stress.
Oh, wow.
Like basically telling me that like I was essentially going to get the flu. I guess that's what it. So I'm
like,
all right, vitamin C, here we go.
You started doing
water,
like the Immune X or whatever, the
got an IV,
vitamin C packs.
Didn't get it.
One thing that I wanted to ask you about that I think is really cool is like the culture of Burn. I haven't seen it because you guys don't let guys in, but I hear it's very what's the right word? Like charitable. Like there's you bring in a lot of other local businesses to like promote their product. And like when somebody's down, there's a lot of people that will bring in gifts. And so like, talk about that. And where did that come from?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's just been such a blessing of a community. Like they're all, where do you go that there's over 500 women and it's not catty? You know? And I think it's just, it's the culture. It's like what's expected. Like we lift each other up. This is not a place that we're going to tear each other down. Like we need to support one another because it's hard out there. Right. This world is hard. So like if we don't have people supporting, like women supporting women is so important. And no matter what there's so many things that these women are going through that we probably have no idea. But I mean, community is very important to me just in terms of like, I'm always like, how can we help? How can we get out there? Can we, put together meals or, I'm always up for like new ideas just because I feel like it's such a need that in general that we need in our life. And I don't know. I love it. It fills my cup. So
I've recently found, cause I moved here 4 years ago and just started working on building my business and getting established. I mean, when we moved here, like didn't have a Facebook friend, like just loaded our truck up like the hillbillies and drove down here, dude. And like didn't have jobs, nothing. Had never even been to Naples. We're just like, Naples is like, we got a rental house in the vineyards. Is that nice? I don't know. But so, awesome. I mean, very like didn't know anybody. So I recently found like a Bible study of like a small group of men. Dude, it's been so good for me. Just a small group of community. Even if it's just like your little workout pod or whatever, like just having that small group of people where you can just go in and just be supportive.
Talk. Yeah. I mean, I think back to like the culture too, like culture takes time. Like it's one thing, like when you're building a business or even like relationships within like that group. I mean, it just takes time. It takes consistency and standing up for things that you see. Like, if you see something's wrong, you got to call it out. And that's something I think I've learned the most of just being an owner, which is probably much harder thing for me than it, I don't love conflict, but
same.
Now I think I go at it head on because I have to protect that community. And it's so important to me to say, okay, you know what, that behavior is not welcome here. I want you to be a member. So either this changes or
so good.
We gotta work on this together.
So good.
I think just having that right outlook of how you're handling it, but it's not something that comes naturally to me. I'd say it's definitely a challenge because I never want to hurt anybody and I never want to prohibit them from seeing what Burn can do for their life.
That's the number one thing I got wrong as a gym owner was allowing people to, in some ways push you around or get away with stuff like that just wasn't good for the gym. And maybe like, it's not that big of a deal, but it's a big deal because like if much people do it, then you do have a problem. And just like learning how to nip things in the bud, like that's so difficult. But
it's also why I love being part of a franchise because they kind of set the standard too for a lot of the different things with like moving the memberships down and stuff. We can't like we get a compliance notice for that. So like I like having like this is the expectation. This is the standard, and you have to follow. You
kind of almost just gonna push it off if it ends up being an issue. Like, hey, it's not.
Well, this is what headquarters has us do. I truly can't do anything about it.
That is nice because I was like, they just beat us up. You know?
So, for sure.
But I think that's really cool because like, that's one thing my wife will compliment is that it's just like, there's always something going on and just building like.
It is a lot on this side for the record.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what are we doing?
Yeah. So what's something that people wouldn't know that you guys do? Like, are you guys in there like fixing fans, cleaning? Like, what's something a gym owner is doing that nobody? What's something you don't think people probably think you do that's just part of the grind? You know, like, are you always fixing equipment? I feel like I was always fixing a freaking bike or something.
Yeah, it's always something. I mean, I think you're always painting or cleaning or, you know, getting something new or finding, I don't know. I mean, I feel like my job is to find what the problems are and solve them. Like that's like literally what my job is. Right. So yeah, but I mean, the other day I had all the fans broke apart and I was vacuuming them and I don't know.
I think my wife, that's why I think my wife may have seen you or something. And I was like, dude, I totally remember for us, we had like these like Schwinn Airdynes and it was like every time I'd walk by one, I swear like once a week, there'd be like a screw on the ground. And I'm like, I don't know, that can't be good. Yeah. You know, and you're like something ain't before broken. You know it. Yeah. It's like a freaking fans, bike's down. And so, you know, shout out to any of the gyms in town that have like, you people get annoyed when the belts are broke. I was like, dude, it's just like, it's impossible to keep up with everything and get them fixed and whatever. But
we always joke around because my husband, we call him the intern. So like, he's the one who like comes late at night because his schedule like is always weird. So he'll come in and then he'll fix the stuff and, you know, do this or do that. I'm like, we got to call the intern. Yeah.
It's nice to have. Well, so it saves you some money too.
Yeah.
Saves you money. So wrapping up, what do you see Burn or you guys in a year? What do you see?
I mean, I just want to stay where we're at and just keep focusing on the people, keep focusing on the staff, obviously loving on them and just letting people, I mean, just let this be their happy place. I mean, that's my goal is just keep it going.
So in 5 years, do you think Holly has a North boot camp?
I would hope so.
You think?
That'd be great to have 2 gyms. I think that this community needs it. You know, I think that the growth in it needs it and it wants it and it'd be great to have a co-ed.
I actually think, the North Naples, I mean, not selfishly because I live over there, but because I do think there's like as someone that like been like, I still think that way. I'm like, man, if I was going to open up a gym. Yeah, there was something like that. Yeah. Yeah, that was going to be a fitness type thing. Yep. I was like, North Naples seems to be the spot, but, you know, so we need to shout out to all those commercial real estate agents out there that are ready to make a deal. But okay, so the brighter side, I like to wrap up, and that's just me kind of firing some rapid shots at you, kind of fun.
Okay.
And so I want to know what's your cheat meal? Like, tell everybody if you're cheating.
Cookie dough for sure.
Cookie dough.
Yeah, or like
Is there like a restaurant. What's your restaurant of choice? There's so many good ones in Naples.
I love steamers. Have you ever been to steamers?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
So good.
On Pine Ridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. Good. It's good?
Mm-hmm.
Seafood.
It's like from Boston. Yeah. It's like,
I've seen it. I know right where it's at. Yeah, I haven't had it. That's amazing. Like not one I've heard.
It's just like a local, my family went to it. Like my mom, my dad, my mom, my sister, we all went to it growing up.
That's just always been like, that's like old school Naples.
I love it. It's so good.
What's one thing you knew what's one thing you wish that women knew about fitness, like that they get wrong, you know?
I mean, specifically with Burn, people think that they have to get in shape before they come. Mm-hmm. And that I wish that they just would show up. We will meet you where you're at. You don't have to be in any shape. Like the gym is set up for anybody, like literally anybody. And I love that so much about it. But when you see it on social media, it feels so intimidating. So I just wish people would come. Like, I will meet you for your first workout. I've done that many times. Yeah. Like, I'm like, okay, I can't work out this day. Here's the time I can come. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Because I want them to see that this community can change your life. It truly can. And it can just
make movement.
I mean, we will work with whatever you're walking in with. So
any movement, scalable, push-ups, pull-ups.
Yeah. We'll do push-ups on your knees. We can modify. If you have a shoulder injury or something's going on, we can always modify and make it work for you.
Yeah. So what music are you jamming to right now? Like, what's your jam right now?
So the franchise it's called Fit Radio, but it's Burn Beats. So they have their own like whole system of their music as well. So we get to.
So you don't get to crank like some Morgan Wallen?
Yeah, no. I don't really love country in the gym.
No?
Not in our setting, because I feel like it just needs to be.
Oh yeah, in the gym, I get that. It'd have to be.
But country's all I listen to at home.
Yeah. I'm a big Morgan guy. Yeah, I love Morgan Wallen. That new album's so awesome.
Yeah, it is good.
So coffee or pre-workout?
Coffee.
Yeah. I wanted to kind of wrap up too. I wanted to ask you, touched on this earlier, and I like to talk about it if it's relevant, and that's your faith. You said that, so how do you incorporate that into fitness, into your business? And, you know, kind of what do you say about that?
I feel like God put me in the place that I'm at today, and it's just to have impact of some type. I mean, my goal is always to show someone that, you know, you don't have to go to church and you don't have to, you know, and church is great. Don't get me wrong, obviously, but like you can just be a good person and be a good human. And like, I always hope that someone meets me and can see God through that, see, you know, God through me in that. So yeah, but I mean, my faith, I don't know what else you want me to add on that,
I think that's great. I think that's a good answer. I think as a Christian, you know, the way I look at it is like, you know, you're called to be a light, you know, and so that doesn't mean you have to go preach and, you know, tell everybody this or that. I think that, you know, sometimes it's just like, man, every time I'm around Holly, there's just something different about her, you know, and like, just always leave a feeling a certain way.
And I hope that happens. Not always, right? We're going to all have days that we're not on, and that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
But
but I think that's a way that you can reflect. And then, you know, maybe they get to know you, maybe, you know, then you have an opportunity to invite them to church, or what's different, or, you know, her and her husband are always getting along. They don't fight, you know, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like, you can't really control that aspect, but I think that, you know, that's where you can incorporate it, and it gives you a chance to maybe have a conversation, invite them. And then, you know, maybe, you know, God does his thing, but I always just like to ask that. Sometimes you're not sure, but since you talked about it, so
no, absolutely.
Wrapping up. Okay. So tell everybody about where they can find you, how they can get a hold of you, and, you know, tell them what you guys got going on this summer. Anything to be excited about?
Let's see. So we always have a 3-day trial. So anyone can always come for 3 free camps and just give it a try. I always suggest coming for like an upper body on your first day. The weekly plan gets posted on our Instagram, which is at Burn Boot Camp Naples. So then you can see like what the whole week looks like. And our link is, I mean, all the links are in, you know, on the top in our link tree. So on our Instagram as well to sign up. But super simple. But yeah, that's a 3-day trial. And then I know I think August we'll have another like little promotion. So some stuff coming down the lane.
The gym is located corner of Pine Ridge and Livingston, kind of back in, I'm not sure what's the...
It's kind of back behind First Watch in the corner.
And there's a Starbucks over there, and that's a great place to find them. So, all right. Well, I want to thank our sponsors for this episode, which is Paradise Lights. If you're looking for Christmas lights, landscape lighting, pool cage lighting here in Naples, Florida, you can go to paradiselightsfl.com. And thank you for the sponsorship. They're really good. And I just want to thank you for being on the brighter side. Thank you so much for just your knowledge and coming in and being willing to give a stranger a shot. And I knew it was going to be a fun conversation because I love fitness still to my core. I always have a special place in my heart because it's got me to Naples. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you again for letting us be here. Letting me be here.
We'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one.
Have a great day.